Hello everyone, Courtney here from How to Loom Your Dragon. Welcome to part 2 of clay from Wings of Fire for the tutorial of clay. In this portion we will be working on his wings. Okay, so as we do the wings, just know that I'm going to only do one wing with you, and then you have to go back and make a second wing. So this is what a wing looks like. Okay, I do always recommend that you make the wings symmetrical to each other, so after you make the one with me, you go back and you do the second one like a mirror image of this one. Okay, if you don't know how to do that, just hold your screen in front of a mirror and see the way that it looks in the mirror, and you'll understand what I mean, hopefully. All right, you don't actually have to mirror the wings, but I'm a perfectionist, so I will be mirroring mine, because on one side you can kind of see the brown on the one side and not on the other side. So I do recommend that you mirror them, but if you don't, or if you have trouble with it, you can do it the same way. However, when we do the legs, you will need to be able to mirror the legs. Okay, so the wing we're doing in 8 parts because we are only using one loom, so it's going to be a little bit tricky, but if you just follow me, it shouldn't really be too much of a problem. First, we have to make some wing ridges, okay? So I'm going to take yellow, which is my wing color, my main wing color, 2 at a time. Now I'm going to take 3 of my coco, and my claw color is going to be gray. So I'm going to take gray, wrap it around, creating 5 loops, double loop, pull that on and reclaim, double loop another, pull that on and reclaim. And this we're going to wrap around here. Alright, we're going to take 2 yellows across here, and then we're going to double loop a yellow across these 2. Alright, you're going to be needing to make 3 of these for each wing. Okay? So you should do that before we actually do the main wing part, because otherwise you won't have a place to do it on, unless you have more than one loom. Okay? I'm going to tie off with a random color. It does not matter what color you use. Okay, so make 3 of these. Then we're going to do one that's kind of similar, taking 2 cocos, 2 yellow, 2 yellow, here, coco here, yellow here, and here, coco here, and, oh no, this is yellow, okay, yellow, then 3 coco, and now doing the gray. So gray wrapped around, creating 5 loops, double looping a gray, pulling it on and reclaiming, double looping another gray, pulling that on and reclaiming, wrapping around this peg here. Two yellow, actually no, we're taking a brown and double looping it there. So the same color as this, the coco. Double looping another one here, and now we're going to double loop a yellow here. Okay. Alright, so you only need one of these per wing. If you want to make the second one now for your other wing, you can. Alright, now I'm going to tie off these ends. So you need only one of these per wing, okay? All right, so you have 3 of the all yellow ones and 1 of the yellow with the brown, okay? All right, now we're going to start on the actual wing part. So I'm going to take 2 brown, 2 brown, then 2 yellow, 2 yellow, 2 yellow, 2 yellow, okay. I'm going to double loop a brown here, and I'm going to take 2 yellows and put them here. That's 2 yellows, that is not a double looped yellow. Okay, now I'm going to take this piece that I made here, okay, and I'm going to go through the brown and pull off the tying band, wrap it around this peg, okay, then we can actually loom that up, okay. Then I'm going to go through the next one, loom that up, tie off these ends, pull this off. Okay, I'm going to take off this tying band here, down here, okay. Alright, now I can leave this one on, it's not a big deal, okay. Actually no, I'm going to take it off. I'm going to take it off. Okay. Alright, so it looks like this now. Alright, and this band's very loose, okay? Alright, now we're going to do the other tiny part. We're going to put 2 bands here, and 2 bands here, like that. And I'm going to take that little piece and I'm going to go through the 4 loops here. Okay, so for the 3rd set down on the edge, 1, 2, 3rd set, go through all 4 loops. Take 2 yellow bands and pull them through and reclaim like that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap these yellow bands around this peg, and then I'm going to lift up the top 2 and grab those 2 loose horizontal bands from the other part, and I'm going to wrap them around this peg and then reclaim that piece. Alright, and once I've done that, I'm going to loop up like that. Okay, now I'm going to tie off these 2 ends. You can tie them off in the same color or different color, it doesn't matter. Okay, so now it looks like this. Alright. Okay, great. Now, we're on to part 3 now. So, taking the coco bands, 2 at a time, we're going to go all the way down this side. We're going to take yellow, we're going to go all the way down the center, fix this set here because it's all twisted up and it's annoying me. Okay. Then we're going to take yellow all the way down this next set too. Okay, now I'm going to take my coco, I'm going to double loop like that. And I'm going to take yellow, 2 at a time. These are not double looped. 2 at a time. Like that. Now I'm going to make the claw for the wing. So I'm going to take gray and I'm going to wrap it around my hook, creating 5 loops. Then I'm going to double loop a gray, pull that on there, reclaim, double loop another gray, pull on and reclaim. Then I'm going to take 3 gray, pull on and reclaim. Then I'm going to take 3 coco. And this I'm going to put onto this 3rd peg on the side here, and I'm going to turn it so the claw is on the outside like that. Okay, cool. Now I'm going to take this piece, okay, the piece I was working on before. You're going to go through the brown bands and take off the tying band. Wrap them around this peg and push down so it doesn't come off. Go through the next set over. And the next set. So we're wrapping the 3 sets. Okay, now I'm going to take my hook, I'm going to lift up the top 2 bands in each set that I just wrapped. Take a coco, double loop it, put it across these 2, and then you're going to take 2 yellow and put them across here. Okay. Then you're going to replace the loops back on like that. Okay, now I'm going to loop up this, so go all the way up each column. Okay, tie off these ends. Pull off. Okay, so it looks like this. Okay, you kind of see like a ladder or whatever. Okay, great. Now for the next part, we're gonna go all the way down this column with 2 yellows at a time. Okay, so those last 2 were diagonal. Okay. Alright. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this part, I'm going to go through this set and take off the tying bands and wrap them around this peg here. Then I'm going to go through the next set, take off this tying band and wrap it around here. Okay. Alright, I'm going to take my hook and like I did before, I'm going to lift up the top 2 bands here and the top 2 here. You're going to take this loose band here and just put it over this peg. Okay, so you have these loose bands here. You took the first one, put it over that peg, and then we're going to take a double looped yellow and put it across these 2 like that. Then I'm going to re-put the loops over. Okay. I'm going to take the next set of loops in line and wrap them around this peg, and even the next set around this peg. Take 2 yellows around here. Yeah. Okay. 2 yellows around here. And let's do the next one too. Two yellows here. Okay, take a yellow band and we're going to wrap it twice around this peg here. Okay, we're going to take another and wrap it twice around this peg here. Okay, and then you can kind of just push it down a little bit, like that. Alright, now I'm going to take one of my yellow ridges, okay? I'm going to go through the side, take off the tying band here, and I'm going to wrap it around this peg here, just like that. I'm just going to leave the rest hanging off, okay? Now I'm going to dig down and I'm going to loop up this guy and this guy, and don't twist up that double band there. Okay, you don't want to twist that up around the peg. You want to keep that nice and neat. Okay, loop up to here now. Right here, loop up to here. Okay. Now we're going to take the next seam line, wrap it around this peg. Take 2 yellows around here. Then take 1 yellow and wrap it twice around here. Okay, I'm going to loop up. I always get nervous that I'm going to like forget a step. Alright, we're going to lift up a little bit from the bottom. Just some, so that you don't end up overstretching the bands. Okay, like that. Alright, let's grab the next seam line. That's going to go around here. Take 2 yellows here, and take 1, again wrapping twice around here. Take down, loop up, loop up, loop up. Make sure you're not skipping any sets. Okay, next set goes around there. 2 yellow bands go there. Then you're going to take a single band again, wrap it twice around this peg. Loop up. Oops, well, you don't want that to get all twisted up. You can kind of push it down first if you want. Loop up and loop up. Okay, I'm going to lift off the wing a tiny bit more. Okay, let's grab the next set, wrap it. Take 2 yellow bands across. Take 1, wrap it twice around here. Loop up. Next set. That one's all stretched out. I'm not going to use that one. Okay. So you should kind of get the pattern here by now. Okay. Okay, next set. Okay, tie off these ends. Alright, we just finished part 4. We got 4 more parts to go on this wing. Okay. Okay. So it looks like this, with this piece hanging off, right? Okay. Part 5. Okay, up to there. Those are all 2 yellow bands at a time. Alright, now. Okay. This is a little tricky here. I'm going to take my hook and I'm going to go into this set here. Okay. Alright, it's the set right above where this piece attached to. Okay. I'm going to take 2 yellow bands and I'm going to bring them through that set, and then I'm going to reclaim the loops like that. Okay. This is going to wrap around this peg here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift up the top loops, just the top 2, and I'm going to take that double band here and wrap it around that peg. Okay, then I'm going to take, if you have a pencil or a holding hook, stick it through these loops because we need this hook. Okay, unless you have a second hook. Go through the center set of this ridge, pull off that tying band, and wrap it around this peg. Like that, okay? Then we're going to replace these loops over that. Like that, okay? Great. Now we're going to find the next set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, the next set of the double looped band here on the side. We're going to wrap that around this peg. Then once we do that, we're going to attach the final set of this ridge onto there. Okay, so you wrap that around, and then we dig down here and loop up. Eesh, but I wrapped the wrong band. Hold on. I want to make sure you only wrap around the right bands. Hold on. Hold on. Don't want to mess up wing. Grabbed an extra band, which you don't really want to do, okay? You just want to grab those 2, okay? Alright, then you take the next set of the double bands that are wrapped, so grab both of them, or both loops, wrap up and loop up. Okay, you just want to loop up these 2, okay? Then we're going to go through the next double wrapped here. Okay, we're going to take another ridge piece. We're going to go through the first loops, and we're going to wrap them around this peg. Okay, then we can loop up these bands. Okay, grab the next double wrapped band, wrap around there, go through the middle set of loops and wrap around here, and then loop up. Now I'm going to lift up a little from the bottom. Okay, not a lot though, just a little bit, just to release the tension. Okay, let's do the next set, wrapped around, then grab the loops, undo them, wrap around, and loop up. Go through the next set, wrap around, loop up. Okay, I'm going to lift up a little more. Okay, see how it's looking? Cool, right? Okay, go through the... did I miss a set? No. Oops, but it looks like... Hold on, I just gotta fix something because I wrapped the wrong band through here. Hold on. Hold up, hold up. Hold up. Okay, 'cause I wrapped the wrong band through here. Hold on. Hold up, hold up. 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 I'm like a perfectionist when it comes to this, so I do want to make sure I have grabbed the right loops here. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, anyway, continuing, let's grab the next set. Wrap around. Okay, now grab the final thingy-majiggy. Okay. Pull off tying band on the one side. Wrap around and loop up. Okay. Go through the next double looped thingy-majiggy. I think that's the right. Okay. Go through the next set here. Wrap around here and loop up. Okay. And then there's one more set. Okay. For this part. Wrap around. Grab this guy. Pull off the tying band. Wrap around. Loop up. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this set here. Okay. You're going to pull off the tying band and you're going to wrap it around this peg. Then you're going to loop up this final set here and tie this all off together. Okay. So now it looks like this. Okay, cool. Take off this, take off the tying band around here. Okay, just that one. Alright, we just finished part 5. We have 3 more parts to go. Alright, part 6. Taking 2 coco bands at a time. Alright, like that. And now I'm going to move on to yellow the rest of the way. Okay, we're going to take those coco bands for our horizontals, double loop them. And like we did before, we're going to take 2 yellow bands at a time, putting them between these pegs. Okay, take your wing. We're going to go through the first set here, the set of brown, and take off the tying band, wrapping it around this peg and pushing down as far as it'll go to prevent it from lifting back up. Something here. Like that. Okay, lift up the top 2 here and the top 2 here, double loop a coco, put it across. Then you also want to actually lift up this guy too. And take 2 yellows, stretch them across too. Then replace all the loops. Okay, now we can just loop up this whole section. Okay, now you want to tie off these 3 ends. Like that, so now it looks like this. Okay. Alright, part 7. We're doing all yellow, okay? For the most part. Okay, so take your wing, we're going to attach the other 3 ends to these pegs, okay? So go through this set here, And pull off the tying band. Wrap all the loops around the peg. Push down. Okay, now this one we have to go through all 8 of the loops. Okay. Very important that you can actually use your finger and kind of pull 2 over at a time if you want. Sometimes that's easier. Those 2, then these 2. Make sure you pull them over in order though. These 2 and these 2. Okay, push down. Alright, now, like I did before, I'm going to take the top 2 loops off of each one, except this one you got to take off the top 4. Okay. You're going to take that band from those 2 loose bands at the bottom here, from this side, wrap them around this peg on the edge. You can take a bunch of them actually and wrap them like this, okay, in order, don't miss any. And you want to take 2 and you want to bring them across like this. Once you've done that, then you can replace the loops carefully. I'm going to take 2 more here, 2 more here, and 2 more here. Before I go any further, I'm going to make the claw. Okay, so I'm going to make this claw here. So I'm going to take a gray, wrap it around your hook, creating 5 loops. Then you want to double loop a gray, pull that onto there, reclaim it, then double loop another gray, pull on and reclaim it, and then you want to take 3 coco bands. Pull on and reclaim. And this I'm going to put right onto the 4th set here. So right here. Okay, just like that. Okay, now I'm going to loop up to there. As long as these loops are wrapped around, you can loop up to here, okay? Make sure you didn't miss any. You can lift up a tiny bit. Go to the next set and wrap around here. Take 2 more yellow here. And let's even do the next one too. This wraps around. Take 2 here. Okay. Dig down and loop up. Okay. Let's do the next one. Bring up a little bit. Just a little bit, like that. Okay. Now, okay, let's do the next one. Wrap the next one. Like this. And now I'm going to take a single yellow and just wrap it twice around this peg there. and then loop up over that. Okay, lift up a little more. Grab the next two wrapped around here. Take two here, and then I'm going to take two and just rest them on that peg like that. What just happened? Okay, anyway, next two there. Take two here and two here, resting on that peg. Okay, lift up a little more so you're not overstretching. Alright, and this final set wrapped around here. Take two here and two resting on there. Okay. Loop up over that and then loop to the end. Alright, we're almost there. We have one more part. Yay. Okay. Now this final part, I'm going to take two bands here, two here, two here, two here. Like that. Okay. You're going to take your wing, okay, we're going to count down six sets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to here. And we're going to go through the 4 loops of that set. Okay, and we're going to take 2 yellow bands, pull them through those 4 loops, reclaim the loops like that. And we're going to wrap these around this peg here. Oh wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just kidding. Hold on. Look that up. We want to make this one set longer. To here and like that. Sorry about that. Okay. Anyway, so you want to wrap those loops around this set here. Okay, once you've done that, we're going to lift up the top 2 loops. Okay, we're going to take that doubled band in there, the little guy that was wrapped around twice, if we can find him. Where are you, little dude? Okay, we're going to wrap that around this peg here. Okay? And we're going to replace the loops like that. We're going to take the next set. Wait a second. No, 1, 2, 3. Actually, no, sorry, I keep messing up. Take that off. Let's try that whole part over. I actually had that right the first time. Sorry guys, please don't dislike this video just because of that. Anyway, trying that again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Go through the 6th set, take 2 yellow bands, pull through, wrap around this peg, lift up the top 2 loops. Ugh, come on. Okay, the top 2 loops are lifted up. Take that little double band and wrap that around here. And replace the loops back on. Okay, take the next set, wrap it around these two, next set, wrap it around these two, and the final set wrapped around, oops, which was that? Final set wrapped around these two. Okay, and then we just loop up. Okay, so go down here, top two, loop up, loop up, loop up, loop up, loop up, loop up, loop up. Take 2 bands to tie off your ends here. Awesome. So it should look like this, okay? Now for the veins, okay, so apparently I'm not the first one to figure this out, how to do the veins. Arian from Instagram kind of showed me a picture of the veins that looked like this. Apparently Raven has some tutorials where she does the veins like the way I'm about to do, but honestly I kind of didn't really look at a tutorial in order to figure this out. I kind of figured it out on my own, so credit goes where credit is due. I'm not really gonna say it's my technique or anybody else's, but I kind of figured it out without looking at other people's tutorials. But yeah, so anyway, I think credit should go to Raven and Aryan and whoever else figured this out first, although I kind of figured it out on my own. Anyway, so you should use cocoa if you have enough here, because it'll look better, but I'm running low on cocoa, so I'm going to be using the skin tone brown for this part. What you're going to do is you're going to lift up this spike here, and you see the hole that's like right underneath? You're going to stick your hook through that hole from the bottom to the top. Okay, so my hook is now through that hole. I'm going to take 2 of my skin tone brown bands, pulling it through the hole. Okay, so on the other side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hook and go through the next hole and come back and reclaim the loops here. Alright, now I'm going to take 2 more, and I'm going to pull that through that hole as well as the loops of the other one. Okay, then I'm going to stick my hook through the next hole and reclaim the loops. Okay, kind of like that. Now I'm going to do black and brown, okay, because he kind of has some black spots on the veins, so I'm going to do that on here too. Okay, alright. Okay, so we're just continuing going down. I'm going to do brown and brown again. Okay, go through the next hole. Now I'm going to do brown and black. Okay. Go through this one, go through the next hole. Oops. Try to get through the hole without going through any of the sets and getting all messed up. Okay, now taking 2 browns, pulling those through. Now I'm going to go through, let's see, what did I do here? Through these here. Okay, so just go through the first set of loops in here. Okay, then black and brown. Okay. Now you go through this big chunk here. It doesn't have to be perfect. Take brown and brown. Alright, and then I'm going to stick my hook through the brown loops, the cocoa loops, and reclaim the other end like that. And I'm going to take a cocoa, pull it through, and then just wrap this end around, and then the other end around the tip there, the claw. Okay, I'm not really sure if that's how the other people do it, but that's how I do it, okay? So it looks like that, okay? Let's do this one next. This one's pretty easy. So I'm going to find the space right above, which is this one here, so I just kind of follow the line here. Just go through the space that's kind of like right across from where the claw is. Take your 2 brown bands and pull them through. And again, you want to Go through the next space. Okay, take 2 more brown, pull them through. Oh, I went through the wrong space. I need to go through that space. Sorry, I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I'm trying to make a straight line here and I just can't do it. Redo. This is why I go nuts when my designs aren't perfect and I consider remaking every tutorial, but I'm not going to do that. It's just a little too crazy. Okay, so 2 sets of brown, go down to the next space. Now I'm going to do, like I did before, a brown and a black. Now 2 brown. Now a brown and a black. Okay, now I'm going to take the coco, pull it through all of these. Okay, so I went straight down those 2 sets. Now these we have to curve it a little bit, and you don't have to do it exactly the way I'm doing it. You can do it the way you want to do it. But I'm going to go into the same space that I put these browns in to start. Okay, and I'm going to go diagonally. So 2 go diagonally. Then I'm going to take 2 more, pull them through. That's also going to go diagonally to the next hole. Let's just see how I did this guy. Okay. Oops, now a brown and a black. Okay, that also goes diagonally. And then 2 browns that also will go diagonally. Okay, and now, so those 4 were all diagonal. Now we're going to go straight down. So now I'm going to take a brown and a black. Oops. Okay, now for the coco. So however you end up doing this, you just want to try to make it the same on both wings. When you do your second wing, just make it the opposite. Haha, cool. Alright, we got one more vein to do. Okay. This one. That guy. Okay, so again, I'm going to go into the same space. Take 2 browns, pull them through, and now I'm going to go through the space next to where the other one went through. Okay, like that. And I'm going to go next one is going to also be diagonal. Let's see how far that went. Okay, I'm going to skip this space and go to the next one, so I'm stretching it a little further. Okay. You can do this however you want, though. You don't have to follow me. Now I'm doing a brown and a black. And this one, I'm going to go diagonally down. Okay, then 2 brown. Diagonally down again. Just kind of use your judgment where you should be bringing it, okay? You don't really want the vein to go down and then out like that, so I'm going to pick a different hole for that. But, you know, if it does it a little bit, it's not a big deal, so, you know, whatever. Because my other wing does that too, a little bit. Alright, and then I'm going to go to the, let's see. Now I'm going to go to this big set here. Okay. Did I do that right? Alright, then take a coco band, pull it through them all, and wrap it. Okay, so there is your wing. Okay, so you want to make sure you make 2 of those. Again, I prefer to make mine opposite of each other, though you do not have to. Okay. Alright, so make 2 of those. And then you have your head, and then move on to the next part. And we will continue working on him.